What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, man, we got the Black Ops 4 in 2026 video. This is actually a really interesting video because BO4 has kind of grown on me in the last couple of years. I've come back to this game. I've actually really enjoyed coming back to this game. This is a really interesting thing because I didn't actually like this game all that much in its life cycle. I got Dark Matter, as we can go here and see. And I got a bunch of DLC guns. I think I have all the DLC guns in the game, I believe. I don't think I'm missing any. But yeah, it was one of those games where I came back to play it, and every time I come back to it, I think I enjoy it more. And I think this might, in my opinion, be my favorite Treyarch game since Black Ops 2 and 1. Or I guess like since oh, we're gonna start that all over again. Probably my favorite Black Ops since probably honestly BO3 or BO2. I think is actually a better way to say that, because I definitely preferred BO3 over. I would rather play BO3 over BO7 or BO6 or Cold War. But yeah, it's a fantastic game every time I come back to it. So we're gonna hop into a match and see if we can find a match in Newtown. See what we can get here. See what the items are for today. We got the Inferno looking skin, and the Cherry Blossom camo. Nothing crazy. We almost have a supply drop, so we might open a supply drop case here today if we can get a match. There was so much cool stuff, like you had emotes, you had specialist, you had score streak, some pretty cool guns in here. I think for the purpose of this video, I think we're gonna run I don't know what gun we're gonna run. Maybe the AK, maybe. My buddy Gothic played this game a lot. We gotta change class because I'm not using the GKS. Let's use the Maddox. Maddox is kind of a classic. This is, in my opinion, the last really good Treyarch game. I also play one of the most probably one of the most underappreciated Black Ops games that we've ever had. I think that this game felt more like a Black Ops 7 than a Black Ops 7 does, which is kind of a weird thing to say. This kid's camping in a corner with a Hades. Do not miss the Hades. Do not miss the Hades at all. I do not miss Specialist. I've said this in past videos when we're talking about Specialist. I do not miss Specialist, man. I really don't. Like, the more I play CODs with Specialists, I really don't understand why we ever had them. If I'm being completely real with you. They're just not fun. They're never good, in my opinion. They're always just overpowered as fuck, or they're just so weak that they're not even worth running. He's behind me. But yeah, that's just my outlook on it. Obviously, I think this is probably the best version of Dark Matter we've ever gotten, in my personal opinion. I don't think we've ever gotten a Dark Matter. Or honestly, we haven't gotten a Treyarch Mastery camo that's looked as good as this game. This game had the best Treyarch Mastery camo. It's not even close. And it really does suck that we have never gotten a Treyarch Mastery at this level. And I think we obviously we've had good Infinity War camos in the past. But I definitely think that, like, this might have been the best rendition of a reactive Mastery camo we've ever had. Like, you play BO7 and its reactive camos are really not that great. Meanwhile, this game has, like, its reactive camo is so good. Like, I mean, look at this Dark Matter and how it looks. It just looks so good. And I think they definitely missed the mark with BO7 and how they did masteries. We might actually be in a lobby with a cheater. I am not gonna lie to you. Or our team is just that bad. This is the problem playing these older CODs, man. Unfortunately, you do get a lot of cheaters in these old CODs. And that's unfortunate, but it is part of the experience. You kind of just have to work with it. But yeah, I enjoy BO4, man. It is a game that I wish I would have played a little bit more during my life cycle, or its life cycle, not my life cycle, Jesus. But I also understand when I play this game, I also realize really quickly why I didn't play it a lot during its life cycle. It does have some really annoying shit in it. Like um, you have the Hades, and you have some really just weird time to kills that really just don't make any sense. The time to kills are a big thing for me. Like the time to kill in this game was way too slow. Um, and the sliding was a major issue in this game. I know when you slide in this game, it's like you get stuck in a slide for like 30 seconds. I'll show you right here. Like you get stuck. You can't move out of that slide. That is your slide, and that's the slide you got. And it was very annoying. And like if you're trying to be aggressive. Some people like that slide mechanics, but I think with our sliding that we have nowadays is definitely much better. It just took a little while for us to get to this point. Let's switch guns. Let's switch to the Maddox, because why not? Now, a lot of these guys that are playing this game these days are people who refuse to get off this game, which I think is pretty interesting. So when you go back to these older CODs, that's one thing you start to take notice is that people in these older CODs aren't better than they were, you know, 7, 8 years ago. But people in these older CODs haven't left and gotten better at newer CODs, which I think is a very interesting thing to look at. Like when you play this game, this level 1000 isn't much better now than he was when this game launched. But because he has not been playing anything else other than this game, and the competition isn't as high, you actually start to take notice that these guys look like they're really, really good, when in all actuality, they're really not much better than they were. It's just that the competition has gotten so much worse. Like it's really like you got people like me coming back who aren't good at this game anymore due to just, you know, whatever FOV reasons or cheaters or whatever, and so you get us coming back, and then you got these guys that are really, really good, and I think that's a really interesting thing to look at. When you come back to these old titles, and you guys can test this out yourself, you guys can go to an old title, and you could have been an absolute god at that time and come back to it, and you'll be a little trash, while someone who hasn't left will be going off. But they're not that they're better; they're better than you. It's just that they're used to the mechanics of the game, and they're normalized to that ability, and they're able to kind of abuse the mechanics a lot more. Let's see what other guns we got here. I want to try something different. Let's try to snipe a little bit with the weaponized. This is weaponized 115 in this game, by the way. This is how you do weaponized 115, Treyarch. I don't know what the fuck you guys did to it in BO7, but this is how you do it. Just putting that out there. This is how you update it. This is how you do weaponized 1.5. You fuck weirdos. I don't know how you guys fucked it up in BO7, but this is how you do weaponized 1.5. It looks better in this game. Well, after this, we're going to hide out here. I think I can just wait right now, actually. Cool. We're going to go ahead and go over some of the cool stuff that I liked about this game and talk about Blackout a little bit, because Blackout is going to be coming back here in Modern Warfare, I mean, not Modern Warfare, I'm sorry, BO7 here in a couple days in Season 2. Well, Season 2 Reloaded, I think, is the rumor is going to be coming out. So let's go over to Blackout. This game obviously had zombies. I'm not going to show any zombie content because I didn't download it because of storage reasons for this video. So I didn't download it because right now what I'm doing is I'm downloading 2 CODs at a time and recording both of them, then deleting them, then downloading the other 2. But yeah, here in Blackout, we have something called the Armory System, and this is something I want to see brought back in Blackout, okay, 2.0. I want to see this armory system with this camo paint can grind. So if you're wondering what I mean by this, is basically in this game, in order to acquire dark matter in Warzone, you basically had to grind paint cans to get dark matter, which is pretty cool. Now all you had to do is get paint cans to get gold. Once you got gold and everything, you just got diamond, and then you got dark matter. Now you have to get paint cans, and you can actually unlock, for example, say I want the MP40, this camo for the MP40, boom, redeem paint cans, boom, redeem paint cans, and there we go. So it had, I think, 2 5 paint can redemptions. It has 3 10s, 2 15s, and then 2 25s, then 2 30s, 4 30s, 5 30s, they're all the same. I thought they were different. So there's 5 30s for the special challenges, and then you got gold. And by the way, gold was reactive. I'm going to show you guys reactive stuff in a minute. But you also have weapon charms. You had death effects. Yes, this game had death effects. It's kind of crazy. It's one of the first CODs that to my knowledge that had death effects. Um, and then there was also zombies. So I believe zombies, you actually had to get these kills in. I want to say these kills were. I don't remember if these were in zombies or in blackout. I don't remember if you. I think blackout, you could just get the dark matter camo. I think the zombies you actually had to do in zombies. I don't think you had to do these twice. Then obviously at blackout, black market camos. I have a bunch of them. Here's weaponized Bo4. You had a bunch of cool camos. Again, some really cool camos in here they could bring back is prestige camos, in my opinion. Like, this camo could be brought as a prestige camo, be cool. Whatever. By the way, this is Spinal Trap. I don't know if you guys know this or realize this, but we actually got this as a mastery camo in a past Call of Duty, or in our days of past Call of Duty, but in this game, a future Call of Duty, which is pretty interesting. But you also had default camos that were not reactive. So those were all reactive. Those all change according to how many kills you get. But these are all like base camos that didn't react. They moved, but they didn't like do anything special. There was actually some pretty good ones in here, in my personal opinion. Like this one right here, the high voltage was a super fire camo. But I would like to see this brought back. And this is also, you can also customize these. Like you can pick mastercrafts or blueprints or whatever. And it was just a nice thing to have. It was a nice feature, in my opinion. And it sucks that we never got that back. Now, I wanted to show you guys the reactive camo portion of this. Also, by the way, before I do that, there's also something called a Spatial Specialist HQ. Because this is the first Call of Duty and the last Call of Duty not to have a campaign. So they added something called Specialist HQ, which means you could basically play a skirmish match with each specialist in the game, and you would actually get rewards based upon them. Now, I don't remember what the rewards were. I think there was like double XP or something, some camos maybe, I don't know. But basically they had this many missions for these operators, and these are their way of doing a story without doing a story. And it just basically took the background of each individual character. It was definitely different, definitely not my favorite thing in the world, but I applaud them for trying something different, especially since they were told to scrap this campaign like literally like a couple months before the release of the game. We go here to create a class, and we go to this. We can see each individual stage. So, start of the game, after 3 rapid kills, so a triple kill, and then after a quad feed, you get this purple version. Diamond, probably arguably one of the best diamonds we've ever had in COD history, in my opinion. We had the start of the game, 5 kills, 10 kills, 15 kills, 20 kills, 25 kills, and at a nuclear or 30 kills, you would get this camo, which is the rainbow diamond, which is super cool. And obviously at dark matter, we had the start of the game, 5 kills, 10 kills, 15 kills, which in my opinion is one of the craziest looking things ever. 25 kills, 25 kills, or 20 kills, 25 kills, and then 30 kills. Now, I believe it's supposed to have spikes. I don't know why the spikes aren't showing in the menus, but you would get spikes on your gun, which is pretty cool. We also had paint jobs in this game. This game brought paint jobs. I believe this is now going to be the last Call of Duty you will ever see paint jobs. This and World War II were the last 2 to introduce paint jobs, unfortunately. And then here for Blackout, you can see here that I have in Blackout, I have all the camos, so I actually can use these camos in multiplayer. And in Zombies, I have some camos unlocked, so that's what I was telling you earlier. That answered my question from earlier, whether or not you had to in Zombies unlock them. And then in the black market, you obviously had your own camos. Again, some sick camos in here in the black market. Just some sick camos in here, dude. I really just wish we got some of these brought back, in my opinion. But it is what it is. So that was really cool. We obviously have the pick 10 system. So if I get rid of this launcher, you see we lose 1 slot, and we have 1 slot to gain. If we go to pistols, you can see we have a ton of weapons and secondaries. It's also one of the very first Call of Duties. I want to say one of the last Call of Duties to ever introduce secondary shotguns. So shotguns were considered a secondary, which means you could carry a primary and a shotgun, which is pretty crazy. I mean, obviously you do with wildcards nowadays, but you know, it's still kind of crazy. We only have 1 launcher in this game. which was really good for the grind, camo grind. We had the combat knife. We had a couple of different melees, but nothing crazy. We had a couple specialists, including the Reaver bow and the Blizzard knife. So we've had crossbows in almost every single COD in the last decade. I mean, we had a crossbow in World War II. We had a crossbow in BO4. I believe there was a crossbow in some form in Modern Warfare 3 and BO7. I want to say Modern Warfare 2 had one. I want to say Cold War had one. BO3 had the Shadow Claws. So I want to say almost every con in the last couple of years have had one as well. So tons of calling like crossbows. I don't know why they're so common. It is very interesting to see how common they are. But even here in BO4, we had a couple kind of interesting DLC guns. We had the Grab, which is the Galil. Peacekeeper was brought back. A94. We had a double barrel AR. See what else we have here. The Daemon, which is pretty crazy. It was overpowered for a while there. The VMP was brought back. We have the classic M16. Just kind of go over some of the more notable ones. The Locust. Those are kind of the notable DLC guns. Not a lot of them, but we had definitely some noticeable ones. We obviously had this contraband system here. Just like the battle pass. This is also the first Call of Duty to ever have a battle pass, which is pretty cool for those that are interested to know that. But let's go over to, I think that's pretty much actually it. So this game had just 3 modes, technically. It had zombies, blackout, and multiplayer. World League is technically, I don't consider that a mode. I consider that just a part of the game. It's just another version of multiplayer. So that was pretty cool. This game also had theater mode. If you go to theater, we actually play back the games that we played and edit them and stuff, which is really cool. This is something that I think we've seen in BO6, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think BO7 has any theater mode now that I'm thinking about it, which is weird because they were acting like that was going to be like a big thing going forward. And you can also see the calling cards here, or some calling cards. You can see emblem creditor, so we had an emblem here. You can see that this emblem is quite old. You can tell it's been a long time since I've added this emblem because we are no longer at 400 subs or 300 followers on TikTok, Twitch. And then you obviously had all these settings that you normally have on any other COD. Calling cards were pretty sick. We had some cool stuff here. And yeah, nothing crazy in my opinion. Pretty mid overall. Like it's just kind of one of those CODs that it had a lot to offer, but I think compared to Infinite or World War II or even BO3, it just didn't have a lot as much as it could have had to offer, in my opinion. But you know, it is what it is. What it is. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been BO4. The next COD will be Modern Warfare 2019, I think. So, not excited for that one at all, but it is what it is. You know, we're just going to get it out the way, play, do what we can. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.